here with People Talk, and I'm talking to Valerie Boone, a resident of California. We're going to hear some of her comments, ideas about what's going on with today's political race. We're talking about the Hillary or versus Trump. So, Valerie, welcome to People Talk.
Thank you for having me.
So, let me ask you real quickly from the start. Are you a registered Democrat or Republican or what?
I am a registered Democrat, but I'm 68 years old. I have never been a Democrat before. I've always voted Republican. This is the first year I have changed parties.
Okay, and so you were a Republican, but now you're going to change to Democrat. Why is that?
I've just been very disappointed this year with the whole Trump issue. I just cannot vote for a man with that kind of character, with the bigotry he has, the racism, the sexism. But I think the most important thing to me about it is he's so uninformed. He's the most uninformed presidential candidate that there's ever been, and I just cannot vote for someone like that.
Okay, yeah, it looks like the country is divided at this point between, of course, Hillary, the Democratic candidate, and Donald Trump. What do you see for Hillary? I know you're a former Republican. You registered now to be a Democrat?
Yes.
Okay. And what is it about? Is it because it's lesser of two evils? How would you do that?
I just really feel like Hillary is the most qualified. She has so much more experience than Donald Trump has. Both candidates are the most hated presidential candidates there have ever been. So it's not a matter of really liking one or the other. No one likes either one of them. But one of them is going to be president, and I just feel like with her, she has the experience, she has the facts. I watched all the debates so far, both Republican and Democrat. She has the answers. She knows the problem, she can state the problem, she has the answers, and it all makes so much sense. When Donald Trump talks, I get nothing. I mean, I just cannot get anything from him because he's not very knowledgeable.
Right. So yeah, he's hard, for some people it's hard to relate to. And his ideas are kind of pretty much outlandish in some cases. How do you feel the worst thing that he's said so far? I know there's been many, but what are the worst?
There have been a lot of worse things actually, but I think a couple of them is the idiocy of thinking that Mexico is going to pay for us to build a wall. To me, that's like telling Canada they need to pay for a wall to keep the Canadians out of America. It's just not going to happen. It's not feasible. Everything he says, he contradicts. I can't get anything out of him. He contradicts what he's saying. He doesn't have the knowledge. He talks about every time someone comes after him about anything, he goes back and says it's sarcasm, he didn't mean it. The most recent thing was that he wants to profile people now because of all the killings, and it's a stop and frisk situation. He clearly stated that that's what he wanted. Now when he got the backlash, now he says, oh, I only meant Chicago. And it scares me if he was president of the United States, with dealing with foreign leaders, he has to say what he means. He cannot keep going back and having every excuse known to man for what he's saying.
Well, how do you account for his popularity, though? He's got the most votes ever as a Republican candidate, and the margin right now on the polls is that Hillary is leading by about 6% or 6 points. How do you figure his popularity?
I think there's a couple things. I think one of the big things is I think it goes back to our Congress, our government, who have done so little over the years. People are so fed up with the way things are that they're just going with anyone. You know, he can say and do whatever he wants. I heard him say one time that he could shoot and kill somebody on the street and his polls would stay the same. The same people would be voting for him. You know, I think people are just fed up. They want to change, but I don't think they're thinking about this very logically. It's not a good change.
Do you think they're angry that there's a woman running against him?
I don't think that has anything to do with it. I think the Trump supporters seem to be angry about everything. It's hard for me to visualize or to understand how people can support a man like that. A racist, he's a bigot, he's a sexist, he lies. Recently, PolitiFact said that out of all the presidential candidates ever, 70% of what he says are lies. And people are down on Hillary because she's not trustworthy. But to me, she's a whole lot more trustworthy than Donald Trump is.
Right. And what do you think is the most urgent issue for America right now? Is it more than a couple of things, 2 or 3 things? What do you think?
The problem, I think the immigration is an issue. For me, when I look at candidates, I want to know who's going to be strongest in foreign policy. That scares me more than anything. And I want someone who's going to be a leader when it comes to dealing with these foreign leaders, with ISIS, with all of it. I just want someone more knowledgeable.
Okay, so security is important. There's all kinds of issues of racism in the country. Also, there's the banks right now, and the mortgage businesses, and all the things that we've been facing for the last few years. And do you think Obama has helped or done anything to change things as economy-wise?
Economy-wise, I was never an Obama supporter. I did not vote for him. I think he's turned out to do okay with the economy. Where he was weak was with foreign policy. And I think that I've just read a book that the LA Times recommended. It's called Black Flags, The Rise of ISIS. And it talked about how ISIS came to be. And it mentions Obama in there as doing very little to stop it. So I think he's done okay with the economy. He just hasn't not done okay with foreign policy.
When you say foreign policy, do you mean ISIS and the terrorism and as well?
Yes, it's all interlinked. I think it's all linked. I just want someone who is going to be able to deal with the foreign leaders so everyone can work together to stop the terrorism. I don't want someone being antagonistic with everybody and hoping to get something done.
Okay, well, I really appreciate your time. Thank you very much, Valerie.
You're welcome. Thank you.